Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have The Caravan of Courage, an Ewok adventure from, obviously, Star Wars. This is the little vintage section, Star Wars vintage section on Disney Plus. We're going to be looking at pretty much everything they have to offer this week. This is a week of Star Wars. We have not had... A couple weeks ago we had something Star Wars. I can't even remember what it was. But we haven't had anything Star Wars in months, probably December, from what I can recall. So we're gonna, in order to sort of celebrate the May the 4th, we're starting a few days early, starting here on May 1st, and we are gonna watch Caravan of Courage, Battle for Endor, the Ewoks cartoon, the 2D miniseries from Genndy Tartakovsky, and the story of the Faithful Wookiee, which is an excerpt from the infamous Star Wars Holiday Special. Along with that, we're going to throw in a little thing from Rebels. So, just to give you a sampling of all the things uh, that have appeared on television in the Star Wars universe over the years. And we've already looked at The Mandalorian, we've already looked at other things like that on this series, but today we're going to knock out everything. Well, this week we're going to knock out everything on the vintage section of the Star Wars thing. Yeah, these are well scripted, by the way. These are not off the top of my head. Yeah, uh, and no edits. And so we're going to start out with Caravan of Courage. So, yeah, this is from 1984. It runs about an hour and 36 minutes, and it came out about a year or so after the original. It doesn't give me an exact date here. It came out obviously a year after Return of the Jedi, the end of the original trilogy. George Lucas was all done making movies in that galaxy, but it didn't stop him from doing television, even after the poor experience of letting others have the license for a little bit to create the Star Wars Holiday Special in 1978 to capitalize on so much of the craziness around this world-changing film, Star Wars, that he created. A New Hope, which he subtitled later. In So here he has an executive producer role in this. He's the creator, obviously, but it is very much a TV budget level, despite the fact that all the money in the world was probably at his fingertips. He was spending it at this time on building up ILM, Skywalker Sound, all these things that would eventually become the foundation for pretty much every major film to come out over the next 40 years. Pretty much you cannot watch a movie these days, and at least a major motion picture with any kind of effects or sound or music that hasn't been sent through the Skywalker Sound or hasn't involved somebody, either ILM itself or somebody who has worked with ILM as a subgroup or at least had their start at ILM. So this is it was a big undertaking. But however, they didn't put. I don't think they put a ton of it into this film. It has a number of the features that you'd see, effects features that you would see in any Star Wars film. There's stop motion animation. There is a lot of blue screen. This is what it was before they did green screen. There's blue screen effects. There's a giant creature in this, played by a guy in a suit with a real prosthetic face and everything else. So it's practical effects, but he's slowed down in a way to make him look massive. And they use puppetry. They use just pretty much every effect in the book, but again, it's for television, so it's really janky at parts. It's 1984. I think we're still maybe a few months away from the first 3D digitally, well, actually not 3D, but three-dimensional digital character which would eventually appear in Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. I'm not sure exactly when that happened, but we're still far away from that, and they weren't about to just throw that weird kind of effect into a movie about children in a forest with Ewoks. In any case, this is, like I said, the Ewoks were meant to be sort of a breakout character that crossed, there didn't have to be a boy or a girl that liked them. You just had to, like Star Wars, and preferably be a child that has always been George's audience. So this is a story that says, hey, what if you crash landed on the moon of Endor, where the Ewoks live, and you had to work with them to find your parents who are looking for you, but what happened to them? So it's really slowly paced. I think if this was made today, there'd probably be a ton more action, or this would have been a half hour instead of an hour and a half, or at least under an hour. It would be half as long. You could have fit this entire movie into 45 minutes. There's elements that are dragged out. I guess I don't know if it's to pad the runtime. I have no idea what they were shooting for. It's obviously you got to have your moments with the Ewoks being silly and wacky and goofy. They're fuzzballs. You got Wicked W. Warwick there, played. I already forgot his name. Warwick Davis. It should come easily when you say Wicked W. Warwick Davis. We get to see some of Wicked's family. We get to see Logray, but he looks a little bit different to me. He's like the medicine man in the Ewok village. One of the things I found interesting going back to effects is the fact that Wicked's family live on the ground. I guess I realize for, again, budgeting restrictions, they can't keep going back to the same matte painting of the trees every single time they show Wicket and his family. Eventually they do go to the Ewok village up in the trees, and that matte painting is used once or twice, and then everything else is just interiors where they're just hanging out with Logray as he's trying to figure out where their parents are, helping the kids. And so yeah, for effects reasons, I guess Wicked's parents live on the ground because it's not as costly, and they all own like goats and weasels and sheep and a llama. So these are like space animals. Thankfully they didn't try to like paint them blue or put weird eyes on them or something. They could have done that. They've done that with other creatures like the banthas. They made elephants into banthas for the first Star Wars, but again, I think a lot of the prosthetic work was again dealing with Ewoks, because there's a decent number of Ewoks in this, not hordes, but also the large creature. They run across a lot of the effects. Also, they run across another large four-legged creature. It's which he employs every tool in the book. Like I said, puppetry, stop motion animation, blue screen, all that. So it's kind of I think they put all their budget into that sequence, and also the big finale battle. However, because the pacing of this is so dreadfully slow, I have to admit I think I might have nodded off here or there. Yeah, I don't like it either. I don't like the fact that I fell asleep. I know I saw this I think the last time I did see this was in 1984, but I literally have no memory of it. It wouldn't be like me to have missed this. And it's not like it was on HBO or something and it was being rerun every day at 3 o'clock. This was like on CBS or something, maybe ABC. I forget. It was on network television, so it played once. And if people didn't make a lot of happy noise about it, of course back then they didn't have the internet, it got played once. Maybe there was a rerun at some point. I have no idea, but I have to have seen this. I don't understand how I don't remember anything about it other than recognizing the kids' faces and knowing Wicket was in this. So there's no references to the Force. There's no references as to what time period this happens in. Like, is it before or after the second Death Star, Return of the Jedi? Who knows? It's kind of a mystery, and it's not necessary to the story. It's, hey, we're throwing Ewoks and children together into a story. It has a little bit of a Lord of the Rings kind of moment here when Logray sends them off with special tokens and artifacts in which to gather more members of a crew in order to defeat the giant beast. I think I can't tell who's related to who. I was maybe all Ewoks look the same to me. Unless actually, the kind of thing is, in order to keep that from happening, they gave each of them different colored winged headdresses. I don't know why, but well, I mean that's probably why. But everybody recognizes Wicket because he's got the little hood kind of cowl thing going. So yeah, they get a little Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring kind of thing going, and they travel. And this doesn't even happen till like halfway through the movie. Or at least most of the way through the movie, and they make their way to rescue the parents or find the parents and rescue them. Hopefully. Did I just spoil that? Probably. The movie is almost 40 years old, so yeah, I love Star Wars. This is not even a question. Do you need to see this? If you're an uber fan like me, you do need to see every Star Wars thing, so you can say that you did it. Otherwise, no. This is not something that everybody needs to see. It's not interesting. Maybe little kids might enjoy it because if they love Ewoks, but will it hold their interest? I have no idea. I doubt it. There's so many things these days are so much more hyper paced. And it's indicative of its time of when it's made, but holy cow! The other thing that bothered me is they're not exactly getting A-list actors. We love Warwick Davis as Wicket, no question, but when you're dealing with the kids, Eric Walker and what's her name, Aubrey Miller plays Mason Sindel. Mace. Mom and Dad, they play a small role in this, and they're all right, but they're pretty much, they show up at the beginning and they show up at the end, and yay. But this thing mainly focuses on the teenage brother and the little girl sister. For some reason, she gets sick at some point, and that makes the Ewoks have to help her. I mean, I guess that's the motivation for them to spend any time with the Ewoks whatsoever. And the boy is petulant. I mean, yeah, he's a teenager, but at one moment he's like yelling at all the Ewoks, and we also have this language barrier. Thank God they didn't go full in on just having Ewoks talking in their Ewok language the whole time, like the Wookiees did in the Star Wars Holiday Special. There was like 15 solid minutes of Wookiees just grunting with no translation in the Holiday Special, if you remember that. Ewoks do spend a lot of time grunting and squealing at each other, but then Burl Ives comes in and narrates, bridging any gaps, clarifying certain things. Most of the time it's not even a situation where it's necessary. Other times it's incredibly necessary to say, this is what Logray is doing. Well, this is what Wicket's dad is doing. In some such situations, he's like, he doesn't want Wicket to go on this thing to find their lost siblings. Well, we could figure that out because of their body language and how he's like, no, stay away from the glider, and I'm going to do it, that kind of thing. We could figure that out. But again, thankfully, Burl Ives chimed in and decided to tell us what's going on. So it's not just for most of the film. Sorry, there's something in my eye. I'm not crying. But yeah, it's... Thank you, Burl Ives, for showing up and breaking the monotony. But when the kids speak, I think they're given the barest of directions. the boy, sorry kid, sorry Eric, he's probably new to his career at that point, but man, that kid looked like he most of his lines are delivered as if he knows he's acting with guys in costumes. I'm into Star Wars. And it's not good. It's not delivered. Nearly none of his lines are delivered well. And it's yeah, I mean, I'm hard on kids. There's not a lot of great kid actors. I mean, you've seen my previous videos where I go, "Hey, that kid is actually good." I point those out because they're above and beyond, better than some adults. Because most kids, they don't understand how things are working, especially the little ones. You get somebody like Haley Joel Osment in Sixth Sense, and you're like, the kid's ahead of his time for his age. Here, I don't think they went through a rigorous casting call to pick these kids out. It's nothing against them. It's the situation that they're in. It's the prequels, but it's it's they're the kids. The little girl is, I'm crying, I'm sick, and the thing is, she has to sell. Even though she looks sick and she's acting sick, she has to tell people that are around her that are not speaking her language that I'm sick. The boy, he just, one minute he's yelling, and because somebody threw an axe, well, you're my best friend. I've never seen anything like that, even though I had just done that a minute before you did. Like 30 seconds before an Ewok threw an axe, he threw an axe, and they're just like, now we're best friends. It's really just convenient. Not even, I can't call it progression of story. It's just, meh. It happened. Things changed now. So yeah, there's just, he has a blaster, and when it's useful, he loses it, or he drops it, and so the blasters are used rarely, and also the kids never actually shoot anybody. They never actually shoot. He uses it, but he never actually hits anything. I don't think. The only person who actually does shoot the blaster is Mom, and Mom. Technically, no, I'm not gonna say it. Mom shoots the blaster to at a being, and that being is harmed in some way. So it's yeah. By the way, she looks really familiar to me, but I don't recognize her name. Finola Flanagan, but she's Irish, but that's the most Irish woman's name I've ever heard. But she's speaking total American sounding, at least to me. Guy Boyd is the dad. I mentioned Burl Ives, so I mentioned all the kids. So yeah, some of the Ewok actors came back for this, and it's great. But yeah, this is not necessary. We're gonna watch the other one in a couple days, and we'll see if it gets any better. I think that was made another year later, and that has diabetes, Wilford Brimley in it. So we'll see how that goes. He's a veteran actor. He's been around for a while, so we might up the game acting wise instead of letting it lay completely on the shoulders of two young kids and Ewoks that are just learning English, barely. They learn how to say names and understand that they need medicine. Like, there's like little tiny quests in here that honestly didn't need to happen, but they're like, you know what? We're running short. This story totally runs at 40 minutes long. We need at least an hour and 30. What can we do? Oh, let's make the girl sick, and let's have them go on a quest, and have Burl Ives tell the audience that they need a special juice from a tree that only the Ewoks know how to use. There you go. And of course, that's for no reason makes the kid stick his arm in a tree to grab a puppet, and that puppet bites him back. It's like a anglerfish kind of situation. But we get to see more creatures. Plus llamas and weasels. Llamas and weasels. Yeah. I, I feel like there's more I could say about this, but again, it's Star Wars. If you love Star Wars to death and you haven't seen this yet, obviously you're going to want to watch it. Sit down. Don't expect much. Set the expectations really low. Don't get too comfortable because you will fall asleep. So do it while standing up, I guess. And make sure there's soft things around you in case you fall over from exhaustion. But yeah, Caravan of Courage. By the way, on IMDb, it's just called the Ewok Adventure. But Caravan of Courage is the title that it's given here on Disney Plus. So, yeah. Tomorrow, since I don't have to do the little random selector thing, tomorrow we're going to watch the Ewoks cartoon. I'm not sure how many episodes I'm going to watch. At least 2 or 3. But maybe a season. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. We'll give it a shot. And if I have any more things I need to say about this, I'm probably going to just come back and mention it again. I'm already running over 20 minutes now, so I've said enough about Caravan of Courage. Look at this art, though. It's great. It's beautiful. Beautiful. But it is hiding a lie. It is oh, by the way, not all of them. I'm not gonna give you to say who, but not everybody makes it back alive from this Caravan of Courage. That's a tease right there. That'll make you want to watch it because you want to find out who dies. Who could they kill off? See if you can predict that. Make some bets with your friends about halfway through. When the caravan starts, once you know who is in the caravan, and once they've gathered all their other people that they need to add to the caravan, make bets on who dies. Including if they're the parents. Include the parents in the pool. And you could be a big winner somehow while watching Caravan of Courage. But, yeah. By the way, like I said, the art here, the matte paintings in the background, like the trees, the forest, house homes, and the Ewok homes in the village and everything else, they're there. There's some great big shots of the trees, and you see the Endor planet itself up in the sky because they're on the Endor moon. It's all gorgeous. It's all really nicely done. But it's 1984, and they do not have Return of the Jedi budget. But yay! Tomorrow, Ewoks animated series right here on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow.